Now, a landmark court case in Britain could have huge repercussions for women around the world. The High Court there is hearing an appeal on behalf of a 6-year-old girl, that her mother committed a crime of violence against her by drinking while she was pregnant. The girl was born with fetal alcohol syndrome and suffered growth retardation. Her mother drank heavily during her pregnancy, despite being warned of the dangers multiple times. The appeal is seeking compensation for the daughter. Let's bring in our angels. News Director of Southern Cross Austereo, Deb Clay, journalist and author Sarah Wilson, editor of Who magazine, Nikki Brigger. Ladies, what do you think? This case could find the mother committed a criminal act by drinking while pregnant and set the precedent.
Yeah, well, it's extremely complicated, but at the end of the day, I find it profoundly sad because this woman, she's had a problem with drugs and alcohol for a very long time, and I understand that health workers, social workers, yes, they paid her a couple of visits, but was it enough? I don't think so. I think that she needed a hospital, not a jail cell.
Yeah, but I mean, and the other concern that I have, I agree with you, is that I guess it opens the floodgates, or it could potentially open the floodgates for pregnant women's behaviour being monitored in all kinds of ways. The food they eat, other kinds of behaviour. That's the concern, but I don't know, I suspect you're going to agree with me on this. Yeah. I kind of think in this case, it's pretty clear cut. We've got quite stringent laws for a whole range of alcohol-fuelled violence, and it's for a very good reason. It is actually infiltrating society in all kinds of ways. Yep. And in this case, I think it's quite clear cut.
Well, they're saying that obviously she was poisoned. It was half a bottle of gin or vodka a day, eight glasses of beer a day. So I think this is quite clear cut.
The really good example,
and I agree with you about, but I think she was also told 3 times, and she's had an alcohol problem since she was 14, I think. And honestly, I'm just so angry about it, I have to say, because we know the dangers.
It's fine that she was told a number of times, but I think that there are these extreme cases, and this is certainly that, where she isn't equipped to help herself because she is so extremely sick. And I think that we know a lot about depression. We're very well versed in understanding that you can't just say to somebody to snap out of it, but alcoholism, it's an illness as well.
It doesn't mean that criminal charges can't be pressed. I think we can feel compassion and we can look at the issue broadly, but it doesn't mean that this is not a criminal charge. And I think the example that the judge made, which was if she'd been poisoned by somebody else, you know, be injected, then it would be...
The child was a victim, that's right, and therefore a victim of crime, which I understand is almost like manslaughter, which is what they said. But I think also that, you know, a lot of charity workers, etc., are saying that, does this mean that if you do suffer from depression or epilepsy during, you know, pregnancy, you're not allowed to take your drugs? You know, if there's a decision about whether you should have a C-section or not, you know, and you decide not to, and you're putting your baby at risk. So there's a whole lot of wider things, which I do understand. But I actually do think this is quite clear-cut. Yeah. It's just whether it becomes made in law.
Yeah. And look, there's no doubt about the repercussions on this child, and you know, if somebody were to abuse their child or to hurt their child, would be absolutely horrified. But I just think in this case, you know, she is the victim in this situation.
They have 60 other children that they're representing.
Cool.
It's just tragic.